Assalamu alaikum. Hi everyone. So in this video we are going to explain this simple open auction auction contract, so from Solidity by examples in the Solidity documentation, the version 0.8.20. so basically let us open this contract on the Remix IDE and let's try to explain it a little bit, okay, and try to play also with it by deploying it. Okay, so basically this let's go from the top to the bottom. So the first line, which is about the license, and as you see basically it's a GPL, which is general purpose license or general public license. I'm not sure about that. So the second line is about the Solidity compiler, and we have this curate symbol, which says that the compiler it requires for compiling this contract should be at least the version 0.8.4, and so this is the name of the contract. It calls SimpleAuction, and then we have this state variables. So the first one is an address, and it's payable, means it can be paid, and it's public, so we can access it and see its value. And then we have this second state, which is and also for the the name of this state is beneficiary, and this one means that this beneficiary who is going to take or receive the money at the end of this auction. Okay, and then we have the auction end time, and this is gonna hold the time where this auction is gonna end up. So then we have the third variable, the third state, which is the highest bidder. Okay, so this is gonna hold or track the address of the current highest bidder. And so we have also this unsigned integer, which is which is gonna be the amount that this highest bidder is bid. Okay, and then we have this mapping. Okay, and its name is pending returns. So this mapping is gonna track and hold the pair addresses and values that should be returns at the end of this auction, so to the participant who didn't succeed in this auction. Okay, so we need to return the money back to those people. And then we have this state, which is maybe the last state, and it's the end. Okay, this is that going to hold true or false depending on is the auction still or has already ended. Okay, and then we have these events, and the events basically are being used for the client side, so that we can emit some event and the client side can know that there is a changes. And so the first event, which is the highest bidder increase, so whenever there is a new bidder, a new higher bid, this gonna increase an event with the address of that current highest bidder with the amount. Okay, and also there is an action and the auction ended that will emit that this auction is ended, and it will also emit the winner of this auction and the amount. and then we have these errors, okay? And also, as you see, there is this three-fold slashes, and this is not just a comment, okay? This is actually called a it's called NatSpec, okay? And it means that just it means natural language specification, and it's not just a comment, as I said, because this is, let me add something. We can also, by using these three-fold slashes, we can also see these messages in the terminal, and we're gonna see that next. So let me add some characters so that we can see that when there is some errors, we can see them in the terminal. So the first error is gonna be the auction already ended, and this error is gonna happen so when we try to call the function, and we're gonna see that later. So there is also this error which is about the bid not higher. So when someone try to bid with a less amount of the highest bid, it's gonna draw this error. There is also this auction not yet ended, and this is gonna this will draw when calling the function of the end, but we're gonna see that later. And there is also this error which is about auction and already called. So when we call the function that will end this auction, if we call it again, we're gonna see this error, and we're gonna also see this message in the terminal so that we know the error. So now let's now go to the functions. So the first function is of course the constructor, which can run in the deploy of this contract, and it only runs one time when deploying the contract. So it has two parameters: the bidding time, which is gonna, so we need to pass in the time of this auction, and there's also the address of the beneficiary. So we need to pass the address of the receiver of the money at the end of this auction. And then when we pass these parameters, so this beneficiary is gonna get this address, and the auction time, which is this variable. So this variable or this state is gonna be the log dot timestamp, which is gonna return the current time. So this is gonna be the current time plus the bidding time, okay, plus this number, which is gonna be an unsigned integer, and it is the number of the seconds of this auction, okay. So the next function is the function bid, okay. So this is the function that the participant will use to bid, okay. So the first thing this function does is it checks that the current time is greater than the auction end time, so that we know that the auction didn't end yet. It also checks that the message value means the amount that the participant will bid is greater than the highest bid, and if it's not, it will revert this error, and it will that says the bid is not highest enough. And if we see Control F and we go back, so if someone want to bid with less amount of the current than the current highest bid, it will give us this message, and it will also give us this in the parameters of the error. and then it also checks if the highest bid is different than 0, so it will take that it will take this highest bid, okay, the current highest bid, and it will assign it and add it, and it will add a new item to the bidding returns, okay, the array of the bidding returns, or this mapping. It will add to this mapping, it will add this new element, which is gonna be the current highest bidder with his value. So whenever there is a new highest bidder with a new high bid amount, so we need to check if already there is someone before. So that one before, we need to add it to this array so that we can return his money back at the end of the auction, and then the money that we will use is the money of the newest one. Okay, so after we add this to this array, so then we take the address of this current bid, and we assign it to the highest bidder. Okay, so that now we have a new highest bidder, and also for the highest bid is gonna be the value that this new highest bidder, or the amount that he bid. Okay, and then because this is now a new highest bidder, okay, so we need to emit this event. Okay, and this is gonna be the highest bidder with the highest bid. Also, we do have this function, which is the withdraw. So this function is gonna be used from the failure participants. So the participants who didn't succeed in this auction, so we gonna return, we need to return their money. So but we will not do that, but it's them who is going to draw their money. Okay, and that's because we don't want to use their address. We don't want to send money back to their address, because they might use some addresses that are a bad addresses. So and then if we send money to those addresses, we might get into some problems. So it's better that they will use their address and draw their money back. So what this draw function does, so first it creates and it declares a new variable state, which is the amount, and it's calling this pending returns. So it's creating it's getting the bid using the address of this sender. Okay, so it's getting this. It's getting this one means this participant by using his address. So we need to get his money. So we are using the address or the key to get the value, which is gonna be the amount. So, and basically this pending, so let me go back so that you can understand more. So we have this pending returns. So when this pending returns get an address, he will return the value or the amount. Okay, so we check if the amount is greater than 0, so we return it to 0, and this is and we are doing this basically because we don't want that guy to draw more than one time, so because he might draw more than one time or two times, so we need to return the amount to 0 so that when he try to draw again it will not work for him. And we also send money back then, so we are checking, we are sending first money, and this is a nice method of using the if. So first we are sending money, so we are seeing message sender and we are sending that amount, okay, we are sending this amount, and then when this function will end, we are checking if this function did not work correctly, then we need to return the money back, so because we didn't send them. So if this function works correctly, then this is gonna be true, and true with this mark is gonna be false, and this will not work. But if this function returns false, means that we didn't send the money, so that false with this mark is gonna be true, and then this code is gonna run. Okay, so and when this code runs, it's like we didn't send the money, so we need to return the table. So instead of let it as 0, we return it to be that amount, so he can try again to draw his money. And of course, if this function was worked correctly, this is not gonna work, and it will just return true, and that means that he withdraw his money. And this is the last function, which is auction end, and this is gonna end the auction. And what it does, so it checks first that the current time is less than the auction time, means that actually if this happens, it means that the auction didn't end yet. Okay, so if the current time is less than the auction end time, that means that the auction end time didn't arrive yet. Okay, and then it will just revert this error, auction not yet ended. And we should, let me control, we should see this message in the terminal that says the auction hasn't ended yet. Okay, so let's go back, and it also checks if ended, it will revert this error that says that the auction already, this function already called, and if this error didn't happen, it will just assign the ended to true. Okay, and then it will emit that event that says, that will say that the auction is end. Okay, and with the highest bidder, of course, and the highest bid. And then the beneficiary, we are sending the money to the beneficiary. Okay, so now let's deploy this contract. So first we're gonna use this one, and let's click deploy. Let's check. Okay, I'm not sure. Okay, so I missed that because we need to pass in the arguments. So first argument, I need to pass in how much time that this auction will take. So let's say this auction is gonna take, for example, 2 minutes. Okay, and then I need also to pass in the address of the beneficiary. Okay, so let's see that this is the address of the beneficiary. Let's deploy, and yeah, it's now deployed, and this is it. Let's open it. So the first thing we can see is the beneficiary, his address, and this is actually the address of the beneficiary. And we can also check the highest bidder, and it's a blank address because we don't have any bidder yet. And there is also the highest bid, which is 0 because we don't have anything yet. And auction end. If I click this auction end, it will of course draw that error that says auction not yet end, and we have this message, which is of course this one. Okay, so it looks like it's just a comment, but actually it's not a comment. It's more than that. Okay, so that this is the error. And yeah, let's now try. I think that 2 minutes is gonna pass, but anyway, let's try to do some. Let's bid. Okay, it says that the value is 0 because I need to pass in some amount. Let's see, 200 for example. So it works, and we see that there is 200 way. And if we check the highest bidder now, so we see that address, and if we check the highest bid, is gonna be 200. Okay, and if I click the auction end, okay, it says that the auction has not ended yet, and this is because the time is not ended yet. Okay, so let's try to bid with another address. Let's see, the value is, for example, this number, and if I click bid, so it didn't work because the auction already ended. So 2 minutes or 120 seconds already passed. But anyway, I think you understand it. And basically the problem is now I can't test this withdraw, so that's why I think I should repeat, and I will repeat deploying this contract so that we can also test this withdraw function. So what I will do, I will delete this, and I'm gonna click deploy again. So let's open it, and if I check the highest bidder, it's 0 again, the beneficiary. And let's now quickly copy this, just click it, and it will not work because I need to pass in an amount. So let's see, 300. If I set bid and I check the highest bidder, the highest bid is 300. If I put for now 4 or 4,000 and I click bid, but I think that I used the same address, so let me use another address. So let's put in 5. So if I see now, if I check, this one is gonna be 5,000 because it's the biggest one, and this is the address of that one. And let's, for example, check this address, and let's see that this one this time is 6. So it's still working because the time didn't end yet. And if we check the highest bidder, also this one will change. If we check the auction time, this is just giving us that auction time. It returns this variable, which is this one, auction end time. So let me try click the bid. So now the time is ended, and we're also getting that the highest bid is okay. I think because maybe it's not that the time that ended, maybe it's just the value which is small. Let me try to make sure that the time is ended. Okay, so now the time is ended. The auction has already ended. yeah, and if I click auction end, it works, okay, and that's because the time is ended. And if I click again, I'm gonna get an error, and it says the function auction has already been called, because I already called this function, and that error is coming from this the auction end already called. If I control C, so this is the message, okay, this is the message that we are seeing. And now what I'm gonna do is, basically if I click to the withdraw, it will work, okay, and basically this is the problem that I did is this is working because it returns true, okay, it returns true. If I go to do this withdraw, it returns true. And actually I did I messed up to do something, but I think you can try to do that yourself, which is better to, before using this, to make this public so that you can check, so that you can have this. Let me try to deploy this again. Let's put in, okay, let's put this on. So if I check it now, I'm gonna see that there is this pending returns. So if I put the address here and I click, so it gives 0. So it's better to do this so that you can see the pending returns. So basically let's try it, no problem. Let's basically send some, let's see, something like this. Let's see bid, let's use this address also, and send some, and let's see bid, and maybe let's use this one also, and send an amount. Let's see if I can send it. And if I use, for example an amount like that, I will see this error that says there is already a higher or equal bid, okay, so that's why it didn't work. Let me use, for example, this address. I'm doing this so that the 200 second will pass, that's why I'm still, so I think now it's passing. And if I click auction end, it will see the auction has already ended, has not ended yet. Okay, so why? Because the value is small, but I think it's now ended, right? So okay, let me try. Yeah, I think we still have the time. Sorry guys, because I'm wasting a bit the time, but you can pass that if you want. So you can pass the time if you want. For example, let me see the bid, so it says the value, and let's put in a number, do bid, and it says doesn't have enough funds to send. Okay, I think this is a really big number. Okay, this is a big value, so let's just wait till the time passes. Okay, auction on time. the beneficiary, and of course if I check a address, for example this address, and I put it here and I check this one, it says 0. Let me go back and check this one. I need to copy this address, so it's not giving any value because I think I didn't use that. Maybe let me try this one if I put, so you see the value, because there is a bigger value because this guy can get his money back. Okay, so if I use this address now and I click withdraw so that I can get my money back, if I click withdraw it works. And if I check again, it should be 0 because once you draw your money it should return to 0. You see, it's now 0. So that's why what I want to show you, and thank you for watching. I know that the video is longer, but I just want to prove everything and make everything more clear. So thanks.